So I've had a truckload of people asking me about marketing materials in recent days and weeks. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to sort of walk you guys through things through my lens. I thought it'd be a great idea to put it out there to some of the people in the room if they feel like sharing some of theirs. Like I've seen some great examples of some really good marketing materials in recent weeks. It surprises me. I don't know. Sometimes, when you think things are obvious, and now I'm talking about the way that I, marketed and promoted my tours when I was growing my tour business, and it just seemed logical. And sometimes I sort of don't wind it back and walk through the process in a little more granular detail because I just assume it's sort of obvious and most of you guys will have done it this way. So what I would say is the way that I created my marketing materials when I was growing MPT worked for me. There's no harm therefore in showing you what I did that was really effective. It's not the only way, okay? And my marketing materials aren't or weren't the greatest examples of marketing materials ever known to a tour business owner. So, there's a lot of great examples out there. You can use my process or my structures or my strategy or my examples to create your own. And it may or may not work specifically for your business. So I'll just walk through a couple of things. Please ask questions. That would be amazing. Thanks, Diane. I can see she's just dropped hers, the link in there to hers. I haven't seen like the final version, but I did see the draft, which was looking very cool. Okay, so and then again, feedback. If you guys have got some feedback and thoughts and ideas that you want to offer up to people, that'd be amazing too. I know Christina, you've done some great marketing materials in recent times. It'd be cool to see some of yours for your multi-days. So yeah, let's just dive in. I literally just punched out a few notes a couple of seconds ago, things I thought might be useful for us to walk through on this call, and I'll just grab that up and share screen and show you a couple of things. So the way that, a lot of, and this goes from my experience of people who are coming into the program, it goes from my experience, managing my Facebook group of thousands and thousands and having a look at so many different tour activity businesses. There are a lot of businesses out there who rely purely on their website to do their marketing and their promotion. So if people want to learn about their tours, they just flick them a link or point them to their website for more information, which is fine. But for me, it wasn't as anywhere remotely close to as effective as doing it the way I did it. So I might even just share the website for MPT first of all. So
May have lost you, Josh.
I've heard a lot about your wine regions, the Yarra Valley. I want to go there and do something there. Or take your pick. I'm on a Melbourne tour. Like what, I want to see the best of Melbourne. So we did that, or we did it by way of experience for people like saying, I want a family-friendly experience. I don't know what you've got to offer, but let's see what you've got. I want to do something close to home within the city, or I'm a foodie. I want to see the best that your food and wine, your food and wine destinations have to offer. Okay. I want to get out in the regions and see some of the countryside, meet some faces behind the places, blah, blah, blah. So that was the way we did that. And if you just click on any particular tour, Great Ocean Road Drive Fly, for example, the website had some nice imagery, had some great copy, and it had a lot of details about the tour, durations, inclusions, other similar types of experiences that people might like. And, if people saw the Great Ocean Road Drive Fly, they might then see our ultimate Great Ocean Road, which was like a level above. Very, very cool. Anyway, so the website had a lot of great information, and we could certainly point people there. And a lot of people who booked got everything they needed to know from the website. But to back that up, and when we were out there marketing, promoting, building relationships, attending trade shows, doing sales calls and things like that, then we obviously had a range of tour descriptions that we could customize depending on who we were speaking to. Okay. And you guys will have seen those. I'll just jump over and grab those, but I would recommend that or what we did was we had them created on, well, in that time, PowerPoint. These days it would be, on Google presentation, Google Slides, so that you can literally convert it to PDF, but you can mix and match, you can edit really, really quickly and churn out seemingly customized stuff. Okay, so actually I think the best way for me to get over there is going to be just to grab the version that I downloaded yesterday. Okay, so this was what mine looked like. You've got these in the program you can refer back to. And obviously we had the cover page. We had a slide just introducing what we do, our collection of unforgettable journeys. We then had, we dived into the actual experiences and gave people a bit of a sense of what each experience, the boxes it ticked. So if they were after, outdoor, strenuous walking or cycling, they could take a look there. If they wanted something close to home in the city, et cetera, et cetera. So that was, that worked well for us. And then each tour page just did a bit of a deeper dive than the information on the website. So you'll see on this version, there's some yellow highlighted areas, which will be useful for you, a bit of explanatory notes about the tour summary. So, the key is obviously a great summary, great copy. I think we did some of the copy we had some copywriting assistance as well, but I'm not quite sure whether we wrote these or whether we got some copywriting support. So that would be the first page, hero image, tour summary. And then down here, we had our highlights, our inclusions. And again, as I say here, it was great to be able to give a time poor agent or direct customer the opportunity to just make a decision based on your highlights and inclusions from your tour. Okay. We also gave options to customize and to enhance the experience, as you can see there. And each tour had like a tour code, so it was easily uploaded by an agent. Okay. Then we had our rates, both retail and net. And then down here, this was kind of cool. We gave a little regional map so we could people could get a sense of where the tour ran. So that was the experience. That was the tour description that we had in this marketing material. We had all of them in here. We did about 18 different types of private tours. Okay, so you guys can go back here and have a look at those. But the reason we did it, and that goes back to, I think, my next point here on those notes that I was creating. The reason we did it on PowerPoint or on a Google presentation, and so that we could really easily just download, export to PDF, is that we could customize it. So we might have a hotel, for example, or an agent or some kind of a reseller who weren't interested in our Melbourne After Dark because they were using a supplier that did the same kind of thing. So they didn't want to know about our Melbourne After Dark tour, or they had like a trusted, tried, long-term supplier that ran their Phillip Island tours. So they weren't interested. So we could just literally grab that slide, delete it from the slide deck, and then re-upload it without it. Okay. So that was one thing. Whoops. The other thing where are those notes gone again? I'm going to move them down here. The other thing was the different types of resellers. So whether it was, this works beautifully for hotels, it worked for like international agents, beautifully for inbound tour operators or destination management companies, or other types of resellers. It could be, like you could have offered this for partners, as a partnership or a collaboration with a different type of tour activity, a business owner or someone that shared your customer. Maybe you're offering them a 5% commission. Okay. But maybe you won't. So therefore you could adjust the rates, the applicable rates. Okay. So these ones were set up for for our inbound tour operators at 25% off retail. All right. You might have this box saved somewhere that you can just drag and drop into your marketing materials with another set of rates, which were just retail only, okay, for direct customers, or for, I don't know, the corporate market where there's no commissions that you're paying. Or it could be a set of rates just for overseas agents who worked on 15% commission. Or it could have been a set of rates for hotels that only worked on 10% commission, okay? So you could drop the rates in according to the reseller and really easily. So this could take a couple of seconds, okay? So you'd have 3 or 4 different versions of this presentation set up for ITOs, inbound tour operators, for agents, for hotels, for other partners, you know, partnerships, for example. And you could just send out different versions based on the commission levels. Okay, so that was really, really handy. Added to that, you could use it for customized inquiries where you have a tailored inquiry. Says, look, what we'd love to do is in the morning your Understanding Real Melbourne tour, and then in the afternoon we want to go out to Phillip Island. Can you present a proposal for that? So you can literally just grab the 2 slides, drop them in, and then adjust the inclusions and timings, of course, but then pop the rates in there as well. So that works really, really well. If anyone's got any questions at all, just please jump in and fire away. Okay, there's no worry about that. If you don't feel like you're getting me off track, it's not really like a presentation as such. I'm just giving you a little bit of insight into how I did things and maybe how some of you can do things a little better. So that was that. And then once you had obviously created all the copy, and again, you might create your own tour summaries. You might get some support from a copywriter to really bring them to life. Then you move on to the next step. And the next step is going to be to grab some great hero images, which I'm sure you guys have all got plenty of. If you haven't, then 2 strategies that I used. Many of these images were willingly provided to us by our regional tourism associations. Okay, so City of Melbourne provided us this image. Okay, again, City of Melbourne provided, or it could have been Visit Victoria, this image, beautiful high-res images. Great Ocean Road Tourism, or Phillip Island, I can't remember what the governing body for Phillip Island, but these are all their images. Okay, some of them are ours, but most of them were theirs. And they just provided like a library of high-res images because we're out there marketing and promoting their destination, trying to sell the crap out of it. So they were willing to help us out with some really great high-res images. So to be honest, I'm actually not seeing any that were ours. These are all provided by our regional tourism association. So that's the first port of call. All right. If you met with resistance, the question would be why? Guys, we're obviously, we are out there pounding pavement, marketing, promoting your region. I'd love to get your support. We're all going to benefit from this. So if you've got some high-res images you can share with us that we can use in our marketing materials, I'd love to have them. No, you can't make that decision. That's fine. Is there a manager or someone that I can speak to, have this conversation with? Okay. So there's no logical reason why they shouldn't share them with you. Okay. And then you can do one of 2 things. Some of you guys create your own using, Canva is the obvious choice, but the other would be to find a designer, okay? And if you don't know how to do that, the best way for you guys to do that, if you are, obviously, as you are members of this coaching program, is to go over here into week 2.
Stop it.
And you've got this section on building an effective and affordable remote team. And if you guys watch this lesson, 30-minute lesson, it's going to show you how to set yourself up on Upwork, okay? How to get job tasks posted live, how to get a really great pool of quality candidates, how to sort through those to get the best ones, and how to give someone the job of creating your marketing materials. And you're going to find a designer in the Philippines or Bangladesh or India or Pakistan or somewhere like that that's going to do it for around about somewhere between 10 and 25 bucks an hour, okay? Which the same work in Australia is going to cost you, $150 to $250 an hour, okay? For the same quality stuff, probably better, all right? So what you would look, I don't want to talk about it in too much detail. If you guys don't know Upwork, then that's the platform I recommend. A lot of you are using Upwork already, but that's it there, upwork.com. Okay. I'll show you how to get set up there in that lesson. All right. So then you would, and what I talk about this in that lesson, but just to reiterate, be very careful on agreeing on the scope of work, like how many hours, because it's all well and good someone saying it's going to cost $15 an hour, but then they bill you for 24 hours work for a simple piece of marketing material, whereas the $25 option might knock it over in 2 to 3 hours. So just have a sense of what you think's realistic to get them to do the work. That's really important. And then it's simply a case of you're finding your designer, you're based on their success ratings that they've had for other jobs. You are giving them your copy, just in a simple doc. You're giving them your image library with instructions. You're giving them your artwork, any branding guidelines. You're giving them your company name, obviously, like logos and things like that. And then you're going to shoot a Loom video for them. If you don't know Loom, many of you do, some don't. We're just talking about Loom here. And you're going to send a training video. All right. Just record a short video, a couple of minutes. Loom's free. Right? You can do the paid version, which costs a little more, $50 a year or something. Not a lot. And then you're going to say, what I want you to do is, here's my copy, not this copy, your copy you're sending them. Here's my branding guidelines. Here's my logos. Here's my images. Here's an example that I want you to use. And I want you to create something that looks kind of like this with these assets. Okay. And, come back to me with a version. You obviously just want to get the first one done, not the whole lot. So just give me one example of cover page, whatever pages you decide you want, the set up in a Google Press or in a PowerPoint, okay, that you can then convert. And that's the way you do it. All right. So then you've got your piece of marketing material that you can convert yourself anytime you want into PDF. You can drop it into a link. So you can just send people the link to this training presentation, which is much easier than an attachment. Okay. If you don't know how to do that, just ask your VA to do that. I think you can even just do a link to a Dropbox. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And then you're good to go. So this could all happen really, really quickly. Okay. Any questions from anyone at this point in time? Okay. No. All good. Hope you guys are mustering up your examples that you might want to share with the group afterwards, or thinking of some questions you've got, or some wins or some successes you've had with a particular designer you might want to refer, or great experience with Canva or another program. Jump in. You can do that now, do that later in the call. Totally up to you. I want this to be not a word, but contributive. Which I'm gonna coin as a word of mine, a contributive call. All right. So then other things that I would recommend doing, and I apologize in advance because some of these things I don't have to show you. I'll just have to talk you through them, because a lot of the stuff I have in my coaching program, I stripped out of the business with the owner's blessing when I sold it. But I don't have an example of the accompanying notes. All right. But what I would always do is to have an accompanying Google Doc, which is almost, it's just copy. It's no images, no, nothing fancy, but it's all of this stuff, but just more detail. Okay. And you might want to break it down into timings. Okay. Pickup time, and then duration of the first leg in the vehicle. Okay. The time that we have morning tea, the actual inclusions at morning tea. Because I might just talk about, for example, grabbing a sidewalk table and a classic pasta with a hearty local red wine. So in brackets, what are the specific inclusions? what time, generally speaking, does lunch take place? Okay. How far is the next section of the walk? The reason is agents like to go granular. Hotel concierge like to be granular as well, because they've got people standing at their concierge desk asking, peppering them with questions. Okay. Well, my wife's on a frame. So how far is that walk? Or, what happens if there's inclement weather? Are there umbrellas on board? So I'm the gluten intolerant. Are there going to be gluten-free options there? And what you don't, and that goes for agents as well, because their customer over in the States is asking their travel agent down the road, who's then asking your on the ground DMC or ITO these granular questions. And you do not want an inbox full of stupid questions, or not stupid questions, but like, minor little queries and questions about your trips to wake up to every day that your team has to sift through and come and respond with answers. Okay. So you could have an accompanying Q&A, frequently asked questions doc, or you just could have accompanying notes where you go really granular so that you give an agent the best chance of selling it with confidence, and you don't have to get bogged down answering, your reservations team or operations team don't have to get bogged down answering questions all the time. Okay, so think about having a set of agent notes. Okay. And then the next thing I would do, and again, I don't have a version to show you, so my apologies for that, but I'll walk you through what it would look like, is to have an accompanying training presentation, okay? That has exactly the same look and feel of this PDF set of tour descriptions. So how would that look? And really what that's for is to train people online to attend trade shows or to do in-office sales calls and product updates, okay? So a training presentation might be something that takes you about 15 minutes to whip through, okay? And it might look something like this. The first slide in the training presentation would look very much almost identical to this, exactly like this. The next could look exactly like this. The next could look exactly like this. You're just talking about it. So we run a whole beautiful array of premium, immersive private tours. The themes running through them are this, and this, okay? The next slide would be, I would drop a slide in here that's something along the lines of why us, or how are we different? Something along those lines. Why choose you? And it would be your 3 or 4 bullet points, okay? Or it could be a key highlights slide, which is been around for blah, blah, blah years, serve 1,000 customers a year, have a fleet of blah, blah, blah. So an agent or a reseller is like, oh, wow, these guys are serious. They're consistent, been around, they're going to be able to deliver. They're the real deal. The next one would be, why are we different? And it could be bang, 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 3 points. You're going to be like, yeah, look, there's a lot of options. We know that it's a saturated marketplace. And those guys over there are great at doing A and B and C. Over here, a little bit different. And here's why. Bang, bang, bang. Okay. So all that probably going to be 2 or 3 minutes to set the scene. And then we jump into the actual slides. And you might just decide which ones, you might not walk through every single one of them. Okay. You might just walk through 3 or 4 of them. Or you might walk through different ones depending on who you're talking to, knowing what they want to hear from you. So on that, it's going to look, imagine this is the way it's going to look. So imagine here, you've got this tour description, all right? And it's 2 pages, all right? Imagine if we broke that down into 5 pages, okay? And by that, I mean, you're going to take this tour summary and you're going to break that down into bullet points. And each of the first 3 pages is going to have a different hero image and 4 bullet points. So you're going to need 3 more images and you're going to need 4 slides, and you're going to break it down into bullet points. And rather than someone reading through it, you're just going to talk about it, talk to the bullet points, okay? So that 1 page will become 3 or 4 with 3 or 4 bullet points per page. Easily digestible for someone, easy for you to talk about it, because what you want to do is talk about with passion that, why you're so great, why you do what you do, okay? And remembering as well, try to resist as much as possible talking about like the features and about the benefits. How's it going to change someone's life? Why do you do things differently? Okay. Not about the specific place you go so much. All right. So that's the first part of that. And then you might have another slide that has just reiterates or recaps the highlights. Another slide that, or it could go into both slides. Sorry, both could go into one slide potentially. Another slide with those inclusions. Okay. Another slide with some options to enhance the experience. Or like, to be honest, I mean, you know, like the actual slide may not look dramatically dissimilar to this. You could pretty much talk to this slide fairly easily. It's not overwhelming to someone, but yeah, just run through the highlights, run through the inclusions. I'd probably separate them out, okay, and walk through them. And then you may, depending on who you're speaking to, you may or may not have this pricing slide, okay? But it could be an indicative pricing slide as well, all right? Possibly it might be a good idea just to drop the box on and just to talk, run through, just to give you a sense of how we're priced. This is the way we do things, okay? So that would be, and that's it. And then obviously some time, you know, a slide at the end for any questions, okay? That would be a really effective training presentation. And you would use it at a trade show. You would use it if you wanted to get like a product update at an agent's office in your destination. Awesome. You want 15. If you want to book in a meeting to grab 15 minutes of someone's time to walk them through what you do, that would be the presentation you use. If you want to train an agent who lives on the other side of the world, awesome. You organize a live Zoom training for their team. And you do this on Zoom virtually. Okay. And then once it's done, or, you know, it doesn't need to be that particular version, but create and record like a recorded version of the same presentation. And you can send it, you can use that in your marketing materials. You can use that, send the replay over to an agent for them to pop into their training library and keep on file. Okay. So that would be the next step would be the training presentation. And then the last thing I just wanted to you know, point your attention to, and this might not be relevant for all of you, but think about the different type of markets that you're trying to attract. Okay. And as you guys know, for me, I did, you know, off a $3 million revenue, I did a good chunk of corporate sales. You know, what's that worth? It's probably 500,000 to 600,000 in corporate sales every year. Okay. So what I didn't do is where am I? Get back to what I'm showing you. What I didn't do is present my tour offerings to my corporate clients, because they just wouldn't make sense. It's like, I'm not solving their problems. I'm not satiating their desires. Their needs are very different. Okay. So if you are targeting a very different type of customer, then you want to consider a different type of marketing material. So as an example, and again, it's here in the program, this.
Thank you for calling Whistler Towing and Truck Repair. For towing and recovery, press 1.
Who's that? Who's unmuted?
Must be me. Sorry, I'm getting.
That's all right. All good. Where am I? Corporate menu. So you will see here that this marketing material looks wildly different to my tour descriptions for my leisure customers. I call them leisure and corporate. Okay. So, you know, doesn't look similar at all. Okay. Solves a different set of problems, and it solves, you know, meets different needs. Okay. The way I describe them. But that being said, so many of the suppliers and the experiences I used, not all, of course, but so many were identical. Okay. These guys were just one of the winery that we had lunch at and did a blind tasting on our Yarra Valley wine tour. But we created a very, very different type of experience, seemingly different type of experience for the corporate market. Okay. So that's where we really broke through, by speaking specifically to their needs. Okay. Not with all of them, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff you won't see in my tours, but anyway, so that would be probably the last piece in the puzzle, is to consider who you're targeting, which type of markets you want to serve, and to make sure that you have a different version of those marketing materials, depending on who you're speaking to. You might even go so far as to say, you know, are you, for example, I was a business that did a lot of business out of the North American market. My inbound visitors from North America were incredibly important, almost the cornerstone of my business. But also Singapore was a massive market for me. Okay, they toured in very, very different ways. All right, different kinds of destinations. Your Americans, they wanted to do things like, you know, obviously like the Melbourne After Dark, the city, like city-based walking tours. They also wanted to do some of the regions and destinations they'd heard a lot about. So some of those were, you know, like the Ranger-led adventure, like a really deep dive, immersive, one-off exclusive experience on Phillip Island, the Drive Fly. Whereas Singapore, first of all, they like to travel in family groups, somewhere between 4 and 12. They generally didn't like so much to have all of the inclusions added into the prices. They liked flexibility. They liked to decide on the day whether they wanted to go to the fruit farm or go strawberry picking. Okay. And so they were very content to engage us on a private charter basis and to cover entry fees themselves on the day. We would obviously get them, you know, net rates, because by calling ahead and letting them know we were coming. So they received the same discounted rates. But anyway, so we created tour descriptions and marketing materials that spoke to a different type of customer. And you know, they love things like our foodies journey through the Mornington Peninsula, things like that. So yeah, I haven't got an example to show you, but the materials, the marketing materials we use to grow our Singaporean or Malaysian or Hong Kong business were different, not wholesale difference, but different to the ones we used to target the North American market. Okay. Anyone got any? That's really it. I mean, I think that's going to be really helpful for you. And I think there's a bit of a strategy and a process there that you guys can lean into. Some of you are probably doing a lot of this stuff. Some of you may not be doing any of it and just relying purely on your website to sell your tours and experiences, which is fine if you've had success doing it that way. I think you'll have a lot more success this way. I really do. Okay. Especially your ability to really quickly customize things. It's, you know, and people love to receive. Okay. If you're building relationships, people love to receive. They don't like it. Flick link so much. Okay. This is something I've created for you. Okay. This is how I see us working together. It adds a whole another dimension to the relationship. All right. Anyone got to jump in with any questions? Sorry, Graham, Tony, I don't know which one of you guys it is. Video as well. What do you mean by that?
Just when you're doing the morning, doing the presentation for showing to tradies, that, for example, embedding a video into that would be quite powerful.
Yeah, 100%. Embedding a video would be massively, massively important with the relationship building side of things. So what kind of video? Have you got some ideas, Tony? Have you?
We did the national experience scheme with Tourism Australia, so we got that 1 minute video done. It's really, really well done.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think it's important. 1 minute is a good length.
Definitely 1 minute. Yeah, that's 100% true. And what I would be doing in that video, you're not trying to sell your tours. You know, you're just warming people up and getting people to lean in and get comfortable with you. Okay, so, you know, I haven't got an exact script, but something along the lines of 60 to 90 seconds. And, you know, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say hi and introduce myself. This is me. It's a company that I started, you know, 10 years ago now, and it came out of nothing. I just, you know, I've always lived in this region. I've just had this long-standing, long burning desire to show as many people my little special corner of the world as I possibly could. So this, you know, company, insert company name, is a realization of all of my dreams. What I love nothing more than anything else is just sharing time with people who are curious about A, B, and C. And it just lights me up. You know, I'm meticulous in the people that I bring into my company, that they share my values and passions. And I really hope that you and your, you know, your networks, your customers get a chance to spend time with me and with my, you know, carefully selected team as well. So, you know, nice to meet you. There's something along those lines. Will be absolutely perfect. Okay, fill it with passion. Tell people a little bit about your story, why you do what you do, why it lights you up, and why, you know, you feel that the things you do are, you know, unique to any others. All right, it's not going to be your unique selling point. Is never going to be you and the passion you bring. That's naive to think that, but it definitely helps to warm people up. Okay, which you can do it in a little embedded video. You know, just load it up onto YouTube. Just drop a thumbnail and yeah, just drop a little embedded video. Simple stuff. Any other questions?
Josh, I just put ours in the links as well,
Okay.
the one that they did,
Yep.
which I found was really powerful.
Oh, the actual video.
Yeah, I just
Amazing.
put it in there.
Okay. Does it follow that sort of theme?
It's a we'll put it this way, ours is only a half-day experience that we're trying to sell. So for us, it broke the tour down. It showed the vehicle, it showed the guide, it showed our passion.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, for a minute video, and it shows that it's inclusive in terms of the family dynamic. And we had a young family, we had an older couple there. So yeah, it was very good.
Yeah. Amazing. That's a really good point. I think there's two different types of videos. You could mesh them into one, but we also had so the welcome to me and my company video could be so informal, just shot on your iPhone. Okay, no need to do anything more than that. We spent a little bit of money and we had a professional piece of content created, which was, you know, a deep diving, a walk through our fleet of vehicles, tour guide opening door. You know, I wonder if they've even still got it on. I'll have to check the website. I reckon they might still have it. And, you know, like, so people could actually get they could feel and touch and taste what an MPT experience really looks like. Okay. There's a few people that joined just recently, like Diane and Adrienne, which I thought I had opened the room up to you guys at this, you know, at the start of the call. I don't know whether you dropped out and whether you tried to get back in, or whether you were just in the waiting room and I clicked, but you didn't actually get in. Is that, Diane? Is that right?
I got dumped.
You got dumped. Okay, right. So you were in.
I was in, and then all
Okay.
of a sudden everything froze, and I don't know what happened.
Okay. Did anyone else have the same experience?
I had
No?
to click out and then come back. I
Okay,
had
right. So
an
you were
interruption,
in.
so,
Okay.
yeah, I
okay.
wasn't. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Well, if you missed some stuff, obviously just, you know, grab the replay. We've done a bit of a systematic deep dive on how I see you guys making some real improvements in your business through the marketing materials you use. And yeah, so what was I just saying? I've got myself off track there. What was I saying? I can't quite remember. Anyway, I think I might have covered it all off. Yeah, video. So actually so guys, I can see there's been a few nice examples that people have popped into the room. So, you know, that'd be cool. So take some time, just jump in there and take a look. I'm having a look here. Yeah, okay. So I have not seen this video for years. I reckon I don't even know if it's the same video, but I'm just on the is that an actual video? Let's see what happens there. Okay. It's probably going to be pretty cheesy, to be honest. Anyway, so take a look at that. It might be useful. Yeah, I mean, I think that was the one that we did years and years and years ago, but and as it seems, it still lives there. So anyway, yeah, video massively important as well. Anyone got any questions, any thoughts, any advice, anything to add or contribute to the conversation? Yeah, I'd love to see that video. That I'll check out that video of yours, Tony, which is great. And Christina, Upwork, yeah, you're having some good wins there. If people aren't using Upwork yet, then definitely jump into that lesson in week 2 and walk yourself through it. You know, it's better to take a step backwards and set yourself up long term, because then you can just use that over and over again through every element of your business. And when you are starting in the earlier, you know, like at ground zero, or you're newly launched and you're in there doing everything, it can be overwhelming. Like, how the hell am I going to get ahead? How am I going to get this stuff done? And once you just get a couple of things off your plate, you see some good results. It's like, you know, and you get some momentum, everything changes. It's the most wonderful feeling. I remember it well myself. So yeah, definitely it starts with just getting that one task off your plate and getting it done better, faster, and cheaper. Christina, thanks for sharing some of those materials.
Also ChatGPT for copy is great. Because I
Yeah.
used to write a lot of tour descriptions, and
Yeah.
it's all about how you ask it, but you could even say something like, describe this tour, and you put in like the very basics of the tour
Yeah.
in a sexy way to sell it to a client, and
Yeah.
you'd be surprised at how good it is to
Yeah.
like write a really nice description. No need
Yeah.
to hire copywriters anymore.
Exactly. And yeah, Christina, so that's awesome that brochure you've got. And if for any of you guys who are sort of newish and either running or planning to run multi-day tours, and you haven't really spoken with Christina, you can see the link in the chat there. Definitely have a conversation. And they've created a really great sort of collaboration / partnership with the Tour Operators Alliance. So definitely, you know, have a chat with her about that. And I'm really excited about that. Any update on that, Christina? I'd love to hear what's going on there.
We launched it on the weekend, so we're having our catch-up call because Maria, who runs Mysterious Adventures, and Angela from New Orleans Secrets, they actually attended.
Yeah.
So we're having our catch-up call to see how everything went with it on Friday.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to give you more of an update next week, more likely, but it all looked good. The booth was awesome. Lots of leads were gotten by offering a prize, which we all contributed to. So I think Maria actually had to upgrade the subscription for the lead generator program we were using because we got so many leads, which is great.
Amazing.
That all came out of the multi-day think tank group, and I never ever imagined starting that group would lead to this. So it's really good, and everything's looking really promising with it. Amazing.
With other multi-day operators, are you kind of selective about the destinations they're running their tours in, or is it just a case of just catching up with you for a quick chat, or like a back and forth on Messenger, or what's the process? Well, for the multi-day, what we do is we have the group and people can, you know, ask questions, obviously, and we have one call a month just to discuss multi-day issues. So this month's call, it's usually the first week of every month. This month call is next Wednesday. And people have to register with me so I can see where everybody is in the world, so I can do the call times properly. But it's a really good group. There's lots of engagement in it. Everyone's very helpful. Facebook actually started pushing it out, and I'm getting, you know, people wanting to join, you know, from other areas. But yeah, I'm pretty selective about who we let in. We don't just let anybody in. They have to be
you know, a serious multi-day tour operator. Otherwise, you just
Yeah,
end
yeah.
it just ends up a big spammy group.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, guys, yeah, reach out to Christina, and I'm just sharing the link, and that's just that started from like a bit of a community that stemmed from the coaching program, which is great. And yeah, so Cheryl is not in the program. Brian is. David and Natalie are. Obviously, yourself, Sean is. Carmen and Sarah are. Maria is. Yes, Brooke is, and Angela is. Cool. Great. Yeah. So just touch base with Christina, guys. Like, obviously, well, that's Christina with a K, but also Christina with a C. You could probably catch up with her, Diane, Adrienne, and a few others in the room as well. Awesome, guys.
I just
Any
put the link to the group in the chat.
Yeah, great. Okay. Any other, and thanks for sharing that marketing material there, Andy. That's cool. Anyone got any additional questions or comments, things that that you want to sort of talk about before we start winding things up?
I have a question that's sort of peripheral related, talking about marketing materials. So I was going through the course on reaching out to the corporate market.
Yep.
And all of that. And I have a question, if anybody has any kind of phrasing or anything they use when reaching out to the corporate market about the benefits of doing these sorts of things for employees, like increased connect, any sort of statistics or anything you say regarding increased culture, connectivity, engagement in their work, happiness, etc., things like that.
Yeah. Good question. So are you looking for like official reports and statistics, or and the other
Maybe.
thing is,
I mean, I'm looking to start developing outreach to these groups.
yeah.
And I'm trying to think of, okay, what am I going to say to them other than I'm here and I do this? What am I going to say to convince them that, hey, your company of all remote workers probably needs this?
Yeah, I reckon this is a cool conversation to have, and it's probably a deeper one. Because with the corporate market, sometimes they don't know they've got a need or a problem until you tell them they do, and they're like, "Oh my God, yes, that's exactly right. We're feeling that, we're experiencing that." And yes, I've never considered finding a solution because I didn't think it was solvable, or I didn't think it was solvable in the way that you're talking about. But I see it now. So, what kind of experience specifically are you talking about?
Well, in my case, because I'm a travel advisor, I'm not a tour operator. I'm looking more to help them plan like incentive trips or like company retreats.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, there's a lot of, you're not going to cut through with things like increasing productivity or getting your team better aligned. Those are pretty sort of cliche phrases. So you might want to talk about it in more human. I'm sure there's a million studies that you could refer to, which would be more impactful. Things like, probably a little bit more time to digest that one would be great, but things like improving mental clarity, motivation levels, and something about, the energy that comes from being better aligned, being better communicators, getting more clearly defining roles and responsibilities with better communication, which flows directly into the flow of the organization and the streamlining of it. These are things that are coming instantly, like off the top of my head. I think that I think there's a deeper conversation involved there, because the corporate market, the rewards are massive, but the breakthrough, like the ability to get traction, if you've got a company that's been doing this stuff forever and it's part of their company culture, it's an easy sell. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ones that aren't. And like, as an example, like, let's say, right, you might have a main street and then you've got two lawyers' offices, one on either side of the street. Both have got 10 staff. Both do $2 million a year in revenue. And one has like a corporate entertaining program. They value it. They reward their teams. They've got a reward and recognition program. They understand that client entertainment is an investment. They do a really whiz bang company Christmas event where people feel rewarded. They feel the gratitude their company has. And on the other side of the street, they don't do anything. They just got like, they book the restaurant down the road every Christmas for a, $50 a head, Chinese meal. And why? Simply because the owners of that company don't value it or don't see it as great an investment or return on, they don't like a return on investment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to sell to the first company is really easy. Yeah, we do that stuff. Yeah, we've got a $25,000 budget annually for this sort of stuff. Yeah, we do have a reward program. We sent our top 5 performers, top 2 billers to blah, blah, blah last one. So yeah, you know what? We're receptive. We're open. We get it. We understand how important it is. On the other side of the street, it's a harder sell. And so therefore it's like, you've got a duty to your company. You've got a duty, you've got a responsibility to your people. This is going to directly impact your bottom line. It's going to make your people more energized, more dedicated, more focused. It's going to improve their mental clarity. It's going to get them buying into a company culture that they want to live and breathe and be a part of. They feel empowered. They feel part of something. And that is going to, research shows that it's going to improve productivity by X amount. There you go. There's a link to a study. Really interesting read. So this is where we come in, and this is why we resonate with people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And remembering also that concept of the pre-baked cookie, which I talked about the other week, which is you're not trying to tell them about this thing you could do for them. You're trying to tell them about a thing that works really well for others, and it'll work really well for them. The pre-baked cookie, you go to someone's place for a meeting at their house, they open the door with the phone, they say, hey, I'm just finishing up this call in my office, come in, grab a seat in the kitchen, the fridge is full of food, there's some cold drinks in the fridge, go wild, help yourself, I'll be with you in 10 minutes. No one's going to take an item of food or no one's going to grab a drink from the fridge. They're just not going to do it. But if that person opens the door and says, hey, nice to see you, I'm just finishing up this call, come in, grab a seat at the bench, you'll see there's a tray of cookies. I've just brought them out of the oven. They're nice and warm there for you. It'd be rude not to take the cookie because everyone does it. It's a thing, okay? So if you tell someone about a thing that you do that works really well for everyone else, and you're probably not getting the same results because you're not doing that thing, then people are going to open up and be more receptive to you. Does that make sense?
Yes. But if I'm not doing it for everyone else, how am
How
I
do they know
creating that?
Well, they're not going to start checking. That's the breakthrough, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've all got to fudge it and kind of fake it till we make it at some point in our
Mhm.
business. You don't want to go deep on details, but what
Yeah.
you do is like, hey guys, I'm just starting to do this thing. It's going to work. And like what I want you to do is give me a chance. No, you're doing this thing. This is a thing we do. It gets great results. Okay. And this is why people love it. Because they get A, they get B, they get C. And if you're not doing it, you're not getting A, B, and C. You're not getting the same results. So really, you've got a responsibility to your people and to your company, your bottom line, to be doing the stuff that those guys are doing because they're getting the right results and you're probably not, That's not the exact script, but that's the, so does that sort of land? Does that resonate?
No, it does land. I guess I was just looking to see if anybody else was already working in this vein and maybe had some examples of what they were doing.
Okay.
know,
Can
on-
we pop this into the program? Into the
Sure.
Facebook group, and let's
Sure.
see if we can get some thoughts. And just I'll make a note that we will circle back to this next week as well. Okay. See
Okay,
if we've got some great stuff to add. All right.
thanks.
Cool. All right, we've got to wind things up, guys. Enjoyed the call. Hopefully it was valuable. And yeah, reach out if I can help you in any way. Otherwise, I'll catch up with you all this time next week. Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Josh.
guys. Bye.
Bye.